Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Reality Is. And I'm just so excited to be back here talking to my girl, my buddy, what does she say? My sister,
My soulmate.
my soulmate, my best friend, Taria, host of What Else Is Going On. Hi.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. I love you. I want to see you in person. I literally was just looking at our pictures from last year, and then I saw that you were with Tom and all them at Beyonce, and I was like, it's not fair because she lives up there.
I know. Wait, by the way, both of us were there again last night.
You guys went twice. Okay, is this transformative or something? Because people are literally buying 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 tickets. I'm not even.
Okay, have you? So I'm assuming you've seen her before.
No.
Okay, I haven't. I hadn't either.
Okay.
But Taria, like, my listeners are gonna be so fucking sick of me because I've been saying this every day. But like, it is it. Okay, I know that you understand this because you are a Black woman in America. But like, it has not felt good to be American.
Yes.
And I'm not joking when I say, like, I am proud to be an American after seeing Beyonce perform that whole show. Like, it's political, it's fun, it's feminine, like, it's everything. There are parts of it that will move you to tears.
Wow.
And so the first night I went, I was on the floor, and I'm short. So, like, I was more just, like, trying to, like, maneuver and make sure I could see her.
Yeah.
And, just, like, catch her whenever I could when she was, like, walking past us and stuff. And I was mostly looking at, like, the Jumbotron or whatever. But this last time I went, and I was on, like, the first section above the floor, and then you can really see the whole stage and everything.
Okay.
And when you, like, the whole production is just phenomenal. The way it's done, she really reclaimed what it means to be an American.
Yeah.
Like, she's not just reclaiming country music. She's really reclaiming everything that this country is about, because it wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Black people. It wouldn't exist if it wasn't for immigrants. Like, it wouldn't exist without the blood, sweat, and tears of the people that they're currently actively trying to push down. So just being there, like, she's amazing, and like, she's having fun up there. Like,
well, that's what it looks like when I'm watching the clips where people are like streaming it on TikTok. And if I'm scrolling, I'm like, what a joy to be able to love, even if it's hard work doesn't feel like hard work when you are in love with what you do.
Yes. And you just genuinely feel happy when you leave. Like, both times when I left, I was like exiting, and you just heard people like happily sighing. They're like a dreamy sigh. Like,
yeah.
Like, I can't believe I just saw that. So yeah, I do think it's transformative. I think you should try to get tickets to the DC show, because Taria, it's on July 4th.
Oh, wow. I wonder if that's on purpose.
Yeah. And I think it's the end of her tour.
Wow.
And she's ending it, I think, like on July 4th. And 4 is like her number.
Yes,
her,
yes.
And so I was just like,
her and her man were married on my birthday, 4/4. So yeah.
It was actually for you.
Yes.
Okay.
What's so funny is I try to be even like my favorite artists. I'm just not a like.
You're not a fan like that. I get
like,
it.
Oh no, like a concert person.
Oh, a concert person.
I don't. Yeah, so I'm like a fan, but because the way people talk about her sometimes, meaning like negatives, I'm like, looks like you're trying to find something to say bad about her. Like, it's one thing. We all have our different tastes. So if you say she's talented, but her music's not your fave, I get it. We all have our favorites.
Sure.
But to some of the things that people say, it's like, okay, how far did you have to reach to? And people don't like people's other praise of her. It's fine if you don't want to do that, but you don't like her based off of the millions of people that do. It's crazy to me.
Yeah. I had a very close friend once say to me that they believe that Taylor Swift is the greatest songwriter of my generation. Right. And I was like, well, no, like, I think Beyonce's way better. And I don't like the Beyonce Taylor Swift comparison personally, because I hate that you're like pitting two women together, but it's also pitting two women against each other who make completely different kinds of music. Like Taylor Swift, yeah, she's a great songwriter for like the content that she's singing
Yes,
about, right?
yes, yeah,
Beyonce, for at least the last 4 albums, has been singing about experiences and things that have not been spoken about. Like,
yes,
and people don't realize it. Like, she makes pop music that you could be listening to and you have no idea what the underlying message is in here
yeah,
until you listen a little more or you go to see her live and then you're like, "Oh my god, that's what this is about." Like, she's just it was so good. I do believe it's transformative.
yeah.
It was my first time going to see her on Sunday, and then that's why I went again yesterday because I was just like,
Okay.
I gotta
You had to see it again.
I
Yeah,
had to see it again. I had to see her again before, and like her kids are up there. It's like,
yeah.
and
But
like
what
Tina's there in the crowd, like
just chilling, right?
just
My mama
chilling.
Tina. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's amazing. So yeah.
I will say too, like you said, the comparison of putting two women against each other. I feel like there's certain conversations that you can have, like your friend saying that, like, and you're like, okay, oh, I don't agree. I think it's Beyonce, but then it's like, oh, okay, we both agree that women run the world. Like that's
Yeah.
different versus.
Yeah.
But I do like with Beyonce, she sings about issues that don't always have to affect her.
Yeah.
Whereas you have some artists who rally when it can affect them, but not put them into opposition of most of their fan base. Whereas
Yeah.
Beyonce is like, this is just this is it.
Yeah, and you know what I think is so funny is that there's a lot of criticism, right, of like Jay Z and Beyonce or like Rihanna, and of course this criticism comes towards Black artists and
Mhm.
not necessarily towards white artists, but it's this whole thing of like, well, they're billionaires. Like, what do they know about the plight of like Black Americans, and all of that stuff? But if you really think about the content and the music that Beyonce's been making, like at least especially this last album,
Mhm.
she really is singing about the Black experience. Like, yeah, she's super wealthy now, but she wasn't. That's not how she grew up. That's not how her
Yeah.
mom or dad grew up. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff that she's singing about, a lot of the visuals that she did during this concert, like, it's an homage to Black culture, to Black Americans, to Black women. It's just so cool.
And even still, when they say they're rich, what do they know about the experience? Ask Oprah and Hermes. Wasn't that the store that wouldn't let her in when she
Yeah,
was?
yeah.
So it's like sometimes that still doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
exactly, because she's still being called too ghetto for, like, country music. She's still getting
Yeah.
snubbed for by country stations even though she is a billionaire. So,
Yeah.
money doesn't necessarily get you access to everything if you are a Black person. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say get some nosebleeds, get a group going. I'm gonna try to tell Arthi to get some tickets. Like, you guys have to go. And you know what?
Hi, Artie.
Maybe I'll go too. My husband will leave me. He's gonna be like, you know what? Twice was one thing. Third time
In
in
the same,
another,
right.
yeah, and third time in another state.
Well, you could stay at my house for free.
No, of course. No, the tickets aren't free. He's gonna be like, that's enough.
Right, right, right. Time to slow down.
Done. Pump your brakes, ma'am.
Right.
All right. Okay. We're gonna talk about Atlanta. We're gonna talk about
Ooh,
the
okay.
Valley, and I know that you are more the in on the internet about what's going on off camera and online, I feel
No,
like.
I love it.
I know. So you can fill me in on some stuff, but we'll talk about Atlanta first. Okay,
Okay.
so this episode of Atlanta had one of the most hilarious gatherings I have ever seen.
Yes.
Britt Edie tried to put together. She kept calling it a polo classic, but then the invitation said country classic. So it was
Yes.
a country classic, polo classic, bare and naked insurance fraud event. Like,
Bare and naked or bare naked because she forgot what it was called a couple of times.
she calls it both, right? She's
Yes.
like, it's bare and naked, and then she'll be like, it's bare naked.
It's like, or are you naked and bare? Which one is it?
It's so stupid. She is such a fraud. I haven't seen a fraudster. Like, I thought Drew was a fraudster because Drew's like a liar, liar, pants on fire. But like Brit is not even a fun fraudster. Like, it's just so
Yeah.
pathetic. Like, it's so pathetic.
Drew is one that I root for. Isn't it interesting how we can have these characters that we
Yeah.
know you're this, but we want you to
I
win?
want better for Drew. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
With Brit, well, it's so funny you say talking about the internet stuff. So now there were a couple of internet personalities that were there,
Yeah.
big on YouTube, and one of them was Aaron. Shout out to House of Aaron, and um, he's been on the podcast, and he, I literally before we got on was watching his recap of being there.
Oh my god.
So he said that
Wait, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I should have, if I had known, like, because I was watching it last minute, I should have, if I had known it was out because it came out 15 hours ago, I would have sent it to you for this.
I know.
So she says that, oh, I was like, why is there showing a recording? But it's me and you.
Yeah.
So he said that when he got there, him, binge worthy, people who watch YouTube, I
Yeah.
know who these people are, and were like basically put in a room and they were greeted by Britt and her husband. They were very nice, blah, blah, blah. And the event was actually going to be outside, but it started raining.
Okay.
And that they did have hors d'oeuvres for all of the people that were there. My guess is it was probably going to be, everyone was supposed to be outside and the ladies were going to come in and sit down like later on, but everybody had to end up being put in. He said before the event started, he was really friendly and he was like, he introduced himself, and Mike, the husband, was like, I know who you are. And he was like, he appreciated that because so many of these housewives or people act like they're not watching, they're not listening, and they are. So then he said once they were outside, he said, I was eating, drinking champagne. We were brought in. I see him the husband looking at the menu, and he starts going off and is like, I see what y'all are trying to do here. Y'all are trying to set it up. Y'all are trying to set me and my wife up. Y'all have words misspelled wrong on this menu. It was a little bit contrary to what the decor person actually said online, because I
Okay.
know you
Yeah.
saw that, right?
Yeah,
But
I did.
then you have two different things. She's saying I'm decor. Britt is saying event planner.
Yeah.
But so he starts going off and saying, I know how this works. You're going to start showing shots of different things and it's not going to be what it is. Aaron, now look, some people say, oh, he's biased or whatever. I don't know. He can only tell what he saw,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, sure.
So he said that he said he was trying to reassure him, like, no, you're going to be great. And inside he was like, no, they're going to make it look like the worst event
Yeah.
ever. So what he's saying is they made it like that. He said, you notice they never showed the entire box inside the box. You saw them. They showed the outside box. They showed them pull it out. They don't show how it was in the box. Remember, Shamia was like,
Even though
"No
even
wrapping
tissue
paper."
paper. Yeah.
So he was saying that they only showed certain parts of the box. Now, again, that people could say, oh, well, because he likes Brit, he's,
Sure.
but again, I'm going by, he's telling the story of him being there. So he said the event played out a little different online than it did in person. I still think, let's be clear, even if they're only getting certain shots, like they didn't mention anything about the words being spelled wrong
Yeah.
on the,
No.
so I kind of feel like it was probably a little bit of both. I
Yeah.
feel like, oh, I have this big platform. I need to have something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me
Yeah.
throw something together, because you didn't even know the name of your Naked in the Woods product.
Naked and Afraid.
Naked on the internet. You didn't even know the name of it. And are we going to continue talking about the event? Because I still have a bone to pick with Shamia. The way I wish Drew would have read her to Phil. But see, we don't have readers. The only one that comes close is Portia. If Kenya was there, oh, chef's kiss. The commentary would have been top tier between those two.
Okay, I want to know what your thoughts are, because I'm loving Shamia, but people seem to not be here for her. Why do you think that Drew needed to give it? Now, I will say this before I ask you that. I will say this, that interview that they like randomly showed in the middle, where she like goes to the radio station and she's like talking about like how she has beef with Drew. I said, where, when? Like,
I remember that in real time.
Oh yeah, because it was
about
all
it on
over.
the channel.
Yeah.
The fact that you would go be talking about your music, talking about Drew, So I'm going to start at the dinner. She says she's been all over calling Drew a liar,
Mhm.
and she keeps referring it back to her song. I got five different languages that I can speak. When I heard it, I immediately thought, oh, she's talking about the five love languages. That's
Mhm.
exactly what Drew is talking about. So let me fast forward. In the after show, this is what annoys me about Shamia, because she says, I was talking to Drew, and Drew told me you need to listen, because in the song, Drew talks about five languages. She goes, but I pulled out my phone and pulled up the iTunes where you can see the words and was like, that's not what it says. Drew was saying, if you listen, me singing,
Yeah.
talking about five love languages, it says it. She says, nope, nope, that's not in the song. It's not in the song. That's not the word. So somebody made a mistake. I'm like, you are that. And then she says, Dennis is a phenomenal business person. This is Shamia.
I know
Dennis
you're
is a
lying.
phenomenal business person.
I know you're
I'm
lying.
glad that I think she used the word phenomenal. Might have been amazing. And basically, Drew did good working with him. I just didn't want the scandal of it all to affect her music. You're the one that started it, because at your birthday party, the first episode, you bring up Drew and Dennis. Why did you bring up Drew and Dennis, Shamia?
Mhm.
Because your friend had an issue with her. So that's my issue with Shamia. You keep wanting to say you're not a lapdog, but you are if you're
Yeah, she's
bringing
behaving
up
that
this
way.
beef. Drew, I would if I wish Drew had said, check this out. I don't when she started barking, I don't speak dog, but I do speak bitch. And let me tell you something. You want to be Captain Save a Friend for the same friend who didn't even attend your wedding that you're still crying about because her legs couldn't be on the ground because it would save her life. Meanwhile, the reason that her life is she's almost flatline like her song is because she couldn't keep her legs off the ground off of somebody else's husband. So you want to tell me what your real beef is outside? See,
I, you know what? You know, we need some like ghost writers for these
yeah,
girls
I wish she
sometimes.
had and I don't really be doing the curse words, but this calls for it. She should have been like, you know what? I'm really sorry. I should not have called you a lapdog. You're a dumb bitch. That's exactly what you are.
It's like it reminds me of what's it called?
Katie,
Yes, Katie.
I didn't say you were dumb. I'm sorry if I said you were dumb. When she said or stupid, I might have
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
shout out to
Yeah.
Katie. Said she was going back into rehab and thanking Russell Simmons
Oh,
for always being her support. That was like a couple weeks ago.
oh,
Yeah. So shout out to
oh
Katie.
no, Katie.
Yes, thanking him. So I was like, is he paying for her to go or something? Because, she talked about money. So I don't know. But
Yeah.
that was a couple weeks ago. She said she was going back to rehab.
Okay.
Yeah. But so that's my issue with Shamia. Just like stand on your own. And also, yes, we've seen Portia not be such a good friend as Shamia. But I will say, even though I didn't believe Portia was crying behind that fan,
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say this. I would have been pissed. You can't keep saying to me, it's your fault for letting these girls say things to you about stuff that I said. I wouldn't let anybody have that conversation. Actually, you did. You had the conversation with Drew and Angela. And Shamia keeps trying to get around it by saying, well, they asked me. Like she literally said, I didn't say those words about the friendships being lopsided. Out of her mouth, she said, Angela said, do you think your friendship is lopsided sometimes? And she says, I do.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I think the issue with Shamia is that she wants to be both things. Like she wants to
Yes.
I think Shamia's thing is that when it comes to the other girls, she does want to do Portia's dirty work. Like going to a dinner with Ralph was totally nonsensical.
Yeah, it
You
was
did not
like,
have
come
any issues
on.
with Drew. You didn't have any
Right.
issues with her. Now you're turning this into a whole other thing because you I mean, look, I do think that Drew saying, "Oh, this could send Pilar to college" is a fucked up thing to say. Like, I get that her intentions were nice, but I don't think that you should be saying something like that. Like if the mother of this child is pissed off that you are hanging out with her husband or her
Fair
baby
point.
daddy, the excuse should not be, well, Portia shouldn't be upset. I mean, this might end up sending Pilar to college. No, like that is unnecessary, Drew. There was no
Yeah.
need for that, right? But at the same, so I get that, but at the same time, like, so Shamia wants to do these things when the other girls where she wants to stick up for Portia, whatever. And I
Mhm.
think the issue is that she doesn't think that Portia is appreciative of it. So
Mhm.
that's why she's like having the sit down with Portia and being like, why can't you just act the way you do with me off camera that you,
Yeah.
and I think that's obviously everybody knows that whoever Portia is portraying herself to be on camera is not, like, especially this season, does not who she is.
Hello.
Hello, guys, watch. I say this every week. Go watch the spinoff. Go watch the Portia Family Vacation spinoff. Okay, you
Yes.
want to know who Portia is? That's who Portia is. Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
but my point is that I think that between those two, it's. I think Shamia is. I think if Shamia just continued to be Shamia without I feel like she's trying so hard to not be an extension of Portia that it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, you're trying so hard that it's actually doing the opposite, that you are hanging on to Portia and it's just doing too much. And I
Yeah.
feel bad because I think she's so funny. Like, I think the confessionals are so funny. I have such a fun time like watching her. She's such a yapper. I think it's great. But between that and then now apparently I only heard a little bit of it. Do you understand what's going on with Shamia's mom and Portia's mom?
Yes. Okay. So, but you know what? Can I say this? Oh, oh, okay. I feel like watching Shamia, I now get why her and Portia can be friends because I don't feel like
Yes.
her and
Yes.
Portia may be far off, which is,
Like,
but
when you're friends with somebody for 25 years, you both rub off on each
okay.
other a little bit.
So I was watching House of Aaron again. Shout out to House of Aaron. And last week he came out and said, I was going to burp right into this mic because of this pink Red Bull. Can I make a PSA?
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm looking right into the camera. Stop going out and buying all these. I had to go to 6 different stores 2 days in a row to get the pink one without being sugar free. These are mine.
Okay.
Try the watermelon. Try the tropical.
Okay, what is it?
This is
What
mine.
is Okay.
Wild berries. Now I'll let y'all try once. Somebody, one of my YouTube subscribers, shout out to her, said she tried one and she was up for like 2 days. I was screaming.
Maybe that's what Carl Radke should be selling at his soft bar.
Yeah, yes. So I'm trying to cut back. When I bumped myself up to the 12 ounce, I was like, oh. But so I did 16 the other day. I said, you have lost your mind. Actually, I bought 2 8s. I said, you have lost because I couldn't find a 60. I said, get it together. You've lost your mind. But so Aaron said that he was out and then he got a call about the mama thing. And he said, I'm just going to tell you what I heard. And so, he's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Some of these people, I always, when people feel like you podcasters or you YouTubers can't know things. Do y'all forget that these people know people or we may have
Yeah.
people in common? So we know we've
Yeah.
heard things. He said that what he heard, again, we don't know if this is true. So allegedly, what he heard was that, they both own daycares.
Yeah.
Shamia's family owned a daycare. Portia's family owned a daycare. Miss Diane had a daycare in a building. And I guess she was coming up on some rough times. So she was just going to let it go to her space, go to like foreclosure basically.
Yeah.
And was telling Miss Sarah, Shamia's mom, about it. And was like, just wanting to know who was going to be in that space. Like, I hope it's not a competitive daycare, whatever. And then when it went to for either foreclosure or auction, Miss Sarah bought it.
Without telling.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Oh.
So I don't know if that's true, but that's what they're saying.
Well, that's not great. And because these are like.
Yeah, because that wouldn't be great. And people are saying, well, what is she supposed to do if she wanted to have a conversation with her? Because I think I would understand a little bit more if you had a conversation with
also,
me.
if she did have a conversation with her, let's say she did, and Portia's mom was like, Miss Diane was like, yeah, I don't want you to do that. Could you not? Can you find another place? Like, is it necessary? If there was a conversation had like that, then sure. But at the same time, Miss Diana's fine. Okay,
Miss like businesses, yeah. So like,
Miss Diana's all right. Okay, Miss Diane, both Shamia and Portia, your moms are fine because I'm sure that you are both funding your mothers and their lifestyle.
Listen, Miss Diane is still looking for a large pepperoni pizza and a white chase to eat it on.
I will never forget that. I will never forget
Hashtag
it.
never forget.
Oh my God. Cordell was so mad.
livid.
Cordell. Cordell is still upset about the pepperoni pizza on the
Still,
white.
still. I want to know. He's probably clicking his heels together right now, laughing at all this going on. I watched their wedding video randomly.
Wait, Portia
Was
and Cordell.
I was That's not the rabbit hole I was trying to go down. I was trying to go down another rabbit hole, and up popped their wedding video, like the before. Oh, I think it might have been on her page, or because she used years ago, she actually had a podcast that I used to listen to called Portia for Real.
I remember
And
that.
some kind of way, I was Googling that for this YouTube channel, and up popped her wedding video. I almost fell to the floor watching it. I was like, that is not the same person. And I don't mean it looks, but then again, Portia conforms to the man that she's with.
Yes. Yeah. She was a good Christian
Yeah.
housewife. You know, she was a trad wife. She wanted to cook and clean
She
for
was
that
a
man.
trad
He
wife.
said,
Are they just white women though? Because when I hear black people say or other women of color, I'm like, are you allowed to say that? Or
are you stealing their culture?
Yeah.
Is that appropriation?
Because I thought trad wife was like in line with like racist wife. Like that's what I
don't know. Well, you know, I do think that the trad wife, the Venn diagram of trad wife,
Okay.
right, is
Okay.
often a circle.
Okay.
It's barely there's like a little crevice that might not be aligned, and that is like,
Okay.
you know, you get like you know, black and brown people in there that are like skeptical about vaccines. You know, like they'll end up sticking
Like 8.5.
Oh yes, exactly.
Okay.
Just like 8.5.
Okay. What a callback. We are so good.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I do think Portia conforms because she said after marrying Simon, she said, I'm Nigerian.
Yes.
Forget. She said, I'm Nigerian. I did a 23andMe or whatever, and I'm Nigerian. We're like, okay, sure. Who's gonna ask? Like, of course, you just
who's gonna come on? Exactly.
Yes, you are Nigerian, but hello, where is the culture now?
Well, they say, you know, she posted like a baseball bat, a Nigerian flag, and something else. And they were like the prime minister or somebody high of Nigeria, their last name is Bat. So she was trying to send this thing. They're saying she's the rumors are, I don't know if that's true or not, that she's dating
a high up in the Nigerian government
that has a wife. I don't know. The son doesn't. So yeah. Hopefully, if it's true, it's the son. Allegedly. I'm like, Portia.
Just be with Dennis. Okay, leave us alone. Just go be with Dennis and leave us alone.
There is a part of me that's like, do they like, are they really just really cool? Or is there still something there? But you know, I don't know. Dennis said, you know, when it came to the bedroom that Portia was lazy with it. So I don't know. Maybe he needs a little bit more.
I can see that though.
That's what I said. Them big butts and smiles get in that bed and starfish.
Yeah. Also, she's like, I'm exhausted from
carrying.
I'm exhausted from carrying this thing around.
I'm like,
yes. Let me know when this is over.
You want me to get on what? On top?
No.
Hold on. Let me prep myself.
I unfortunately know what I look like when you know, you look down in your front facing camera and you realize, oh no, this is what I look like when I'm on top. I've stopped.
You are not going to make me think about that now.
If I'm going to do that, push my husband's face the other way. Don't look at me.
Put your hands over his eyes. Let's play a game. He's like, are you all right? Mm-hmm. I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay.
But wait, are you enjoying Atlanta, though?
I am enjoying Atlanta.
Me too.
People are like back and forth. Okay, I don't think that we needed Phaedra. I really don't. It was weird. That little sit down she had with Portia was like very put on, very fake.
Did you not learn your lesson? Everything they talked about was rumors. I heard. Isn't that how you lost your peach before?
Yes. And then also she basically she kept making terrible comments about Kelly's height and calling her a little person. And then she was like,
I was going to ask you, was that like,
it was so inappropriate. It was so inappropriate. And then she was like, oh, no, don't worry. I support them. I hired them. Oh, I even think they're a little kinky. I might be into that. I'm like, this is so weird. This is so weird. Replace little person with black person. Like, you can't say those things. You can't say I hired a black person. Oh, I'm really into them. Maybe it's a kink. Like you can't say that.
Bring me all the blacks. Like she said, bring me all the littles. I'm gonna
Yeah,
put them in my basement.
in my basement.
When she said that, I was like, too far.
Too
You
far.
have gone too far.
Yeah, that is, and also like it's still too soon for you to be making basement jokes. Okay.
Yes. Oh, that's true. But also, okay, I want your opinion of this because I talked about it. And when you really think about it, everyone nails Phaedra to the cross for the rumor.
Mhm.
And I was thinking, even if Phaedra told Portia, which was so effed up, but let's be clear, there are times when I may send a voice note, a text, you may send a voice note, a text, we
Mhm.
may talk to our friends and say, don't you say nothing. Or this is what I heard. This is so wildly inappropriate, right? She still should not have said it because that is horrible.
Yeah.
Portia brought it to TV and it seemed like she kind of got like Phaedra got scapegoated a little bit to me. Like, yeah, you said it to Portia, but don't we always say, well, so and so, you're the one that brought it to TV, so like that's the person.
Yeah, I think I'm always more interested in the source of the rumor because for what it's worth, Phaedra was going to be fine just letting Portia take the heat. She wasn't
Well,
going to
that's
say
true
anything
also.
until Portia at the reunion said, "Well, Phaedra's the one that told me this." And
Right.
you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
feel like I don't know, I just feel like it's all bad all around.
Okay.
I'm glad that Phaedra is coming and being so inappropriate because I'm like, let's just make this a one and done thing. I don't think that we need.
Well, you heard what Andy said
What do you say?
when on Watch What Happens Live, which leads me to believe Candy. People want Candy to come back. I doubt it because on Watch What Happens Live, Shamia was the episode that Shamia was on, and I think Andy said, "What do you think about Phaedra come back or something?" And she's like, "Oh, she was at Married to Medicine. She's here. Let's see where she go next." And he said, "She's staying."
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Well, I think that after 2020 we were really like we're going to do the right thing. Bravo was like we're going to do the right thing and slowly but surely and especially after this recent election, I feel like everybody's slowly like, it's okay. It's okay to have like problematic people on TV.
Yeah,
It's
like
fine.
everybody has a freedom of speech. Like that's we're supposed to be representing the real world, so we want them all to be on TV, right? Wrong.
Wrong.
But I guess I should say I'm guilty because I don't necessarily have a how do I say if she's there or not there. So what I've learned, what I'm trying to do is learn how to enjoy the moments that make me laugh, but also like people are saying Phaedra's not going to give us anything. She came on the show not giving us anything. So
Yeah.
I don't expect her to go deep because she has never go away from me with this Apollo.
Yeah.
Like that's the deepest that we've ever gotten from her.
And I'm okay with Phaedra being there because I love a liar on TV. I love watching liars, and Phaedra is one of
No.
our. There, she's such a liar. I love watching her. Like, she's not going to give us anything. She's going to get. I mean, that's why she hated the Married to Medicine girls because they were like, Phaedra, we know you're lying.
The fact that she said all of that. First, she said that they were that the RHOA was the Titanic.
Yeah.
And then when that I sent me and my mom were cracking up when we were talking about Phaedra. So what do you think about the ladies? They're trash. I was like, what?
It's
She
crazy.
literally went in on them. Like these are the same women that you said if you were around them, you could maybe still be married.
Yeah. No.
Did you see Apollo's ring cam footage that his ex posted?
Oh boy.
Girl, what did you think you were getting with him? We don't feel sorry for you. Weren't you on ATL as his girlfriend when he was married to Phaedra, talking about Phaedra?
I can't. I can't with these
Okay.
people. Okay.
But
It's like getting married to like Peter Thomas and being like, "Did you know he's bankrupt?" Like, yeah. Yes.
next question. Next caller.
Exactly.
Next caller,
Exactly.
Tamika.
It's the same way like it's like, okay, Portia, like Simon lied to you. Yeah, we know. Like we saw it. You believed him? Like
Yes.
I you
Do you
know,
think she had anything to do with the call, him being on his way to divorce court and him, or was he on the radar? I mean, they are snatching people like,
I say this every time. Defund ICE, okay, abolish ICE. But sometimes
I'm there with you. I'm there with you on certain things.
You know
Yes.
what?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. There are some men, okay,
Mhm.
who I do feel like we should be like I it's but to me I'm like, I felt the same way about like what's his name? Joe Judice, Juicy
Oh,
Joe
yeah,
getting
yeah,
deported. I'm like,
yeah.
okay, yeah, he did a crime, he should get deported.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, those are like legit. The fact that they're snatching up people who have like done nothing and just
That is
that's
crazy.
fucked up. But like Simon is also like if Phaedra, maybe it wasn't Phaedra, but it was probably Miss Diane.
Yes. That tipped them off or kept talking about it in certain circles. Oh, he's going to be here.
She sat down on her white chase with her pepperoni
Morning
pizza and she made some
as
phone
she's
calls.
pulling the string.
Ah,
Okay. So yes, we're enjoying Atlanta. Yes. Okay.
of course. All right, let's talk about the Valley. This episode got real dark.
First of all, I don't even know where to start because I'm about to start. I don't want to sound like a white person, and I'm about to start when I'm talking to Jasmine, and I'm like, oh, put it back in because I'm getting tired. But at the same time, she's a black woman. She's a woman in the queer community,
Yeah.
so I do understand what she's saying. There is a part of me that's wondering: is this being pushed with Danny for the camera, or is
Yes.
this something? I mean, if they are hanging out outside, what made those feelings not just come up but bubble over on camera? But then I go back to, it doesn't matter. She's allowed to feel that way if it's 10 years from now. So I don't want it when I say I don't want to sound like a white person. It's like because let me tell you something. I typed in the Valley Jasmine. The racism begins to show when they don't like a
Immediately.
black or a woman of color. And I kept saying, now wait a minute. Some of the things y'all are saying are wild. You cannot like Jasmine without all of that.
Yeah. They're like, she's thirsty. She was a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. She was on The Bachelor. Now she's a lesbian. Excuse me. You guys love Gabby Windy from Traders. I see you guys jizzing your pants over her. She was a bachelorette and she was a cheerleader. It's the
Oh,
exact same thing.
wow.
Like, and
Okay.
now she's a lesbian. So it's like, it happens. I think that with Jasmine, I think this Jasmine, Danny, because really it's Jasmine, Danny, Janet. Because all of this got escalated because of Janet.
That
Janet being
jackal
like,
Janet.
"Oh, I saw Danny in the closet and he was drinking and it made me uncomfortable." And then Jasmine, I mean, one of the funniest things is a bunch of drunk people getting mad about the one guy being drunk, right? So I understand. Here's the thing: what Danny did to Jasmine and Michelle is so messed up, and
Yes.
the only person that should be fighting that battle should be Jasmine and Michelle, only
Yes.
because, what's her name?
Janet.
No, what is
Janet the
her?
jackal.
Oh no, what is Jesse Lally's?
Oh, the one that talks in cursive?
Yeah, what's her name?
Michelle?
That's also Michelle, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, Jasmine and Melissa. Sorry,
Yeah,
Melissa
that's
is
Jasmine Melissa.
Jasmine's girlfriend. Anyway, Jasmine and Melissa should be the only ones that like are really dealing with Danny on this because it was like a personal thing that happened to them. The
Yes.
fact of the matter is, you guys are all like, let's not forget that Jesse called Michelle an escort that only gets paid only $1,500 a night by a billionaire. And then Michelle's hysterically crying. She's like, he's a drunk. He's not a nice person. He's terrible. Please, guys, like, have my back. And they're like, well, he rented the house and like it's his party. He didn't rent the house. Production rented the house. Don't be ridiculous. Okay. And then they're like not having Michelle's back where she cries, throws up, like screaming every week, being like, he's a really bad guy, you guys. He's terrible. And they're like, oh, Michelle, it's, you know what, he's trying his best. And then here's Jasmine and Melissa being like, Danny groped us. And then they're like, oh, like, yeah, obviously we should all be getting mad at Danny. And then also we should be getting mad at Nia. And Nia's like, let me, you know what I love? I want to know what you think about this. Do you
Okay.
think behind closed doors, Nia is screaming at her husband?
I wonder, or if she actively works to be, you know, some people that actively work to really be what they show the world. There are some people that purposely show the world a different face than behind closed doors. And there are some people that are actively want to be the person that they show the world.
Yeah.
And I can't figure that out with Nia because it's pageantry. So
It is, but then whenever you see Nia alone with Danny, and then she's like, "Danny, I went to a girls' night, and they said that you did this," and Danny's like, "I don't," and she's like, "Don't laugh,
oh yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
not funny." Like I think that Nia gives it to him,
Him,
like
but yeah.
really hard
She did say they made a pact to what was her exact like basically cover
for each
each
other. And
other.
here's
That
the
was on the
thing:
after show.
I think here's the thing. I don't think it's crazy for a husband and wife who have therapists, who have counseling, who deal with this, who figure it out. It's not necessary, I think, for them to have to play it out on camera. I don't think
Yeah.
that that's absolute, or at least not in this group of
Yeah.
people.
Yes, because it's not a safe space.
It's not a safe space because you see two people, actually four people, Jackson, Brittany, and Michelle and Jesse. Michelle and Brittany have both been in extremely toxic relationships.
Yeah.
Jason, Danny, Luke, all these guys are still friends with Jesse, still friends with
Yeah.
Jax.
Yeah.
So it's like, does it really matter what Danny is doing? Because what he's doing is like the least egregious thing.
Yes,
If you think
yes.
about all the other stuff, like Jax threw furniture at his wife and unhoused his autistic child and wife so he could fuck women in his house. Then he stopped paying the mortgage.
Girl, watching him on the after show, I've watched almost every after show. It's as good as a show. I had to pause the last one and I have not went back because the way he is trying to say, I realized what I did. I put my wife and my son out as if he came to the realization when, like she said, she went from paying $8,000 a month for things to 15,000 because of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You and your fingertips that probably smell like saliva, cigarette smoke, and cocaine need to shut up.
He's terrible.
I was so disgusted. How dare you? Like, and the audience that buys it, Brittany stuck with you in your ugly phase because, first of all, I've never been
No.
a Jax person, but I could see the appeal to people when he
Sure.
first came on. But then when Brittany got with him, you were in your luteal. What is that? Is that what they call women in our luteal? You
Yeah,
were in your luteal phase, a continuous luteal phase. Like,
yeah.
how dare you? I was so enraged. I had to turn off the after show.
First of all, this latest after show was like 36 minutes long. I was like, that's as long as the episode.
Well, I was gonna say every time, you know how it goes, it gives that little interstitial.
Yeah.
I always think it's over if
Yeah.
I'm not looking. Then they start talking again. I'm like, it's still on.
Yeah, again. It's always like, so Kristen, what do you think? I'm like, why are you still asking her questions?
Yes. And speaking of Kristen, you know what's you know what it is with Kristen, the push and pull?
Yeah.
She'll do the right thing, but for the wrong reason.
Yeah. Did you see in the after show, this after show, I don't know how much you watch, but in this after show, she said, you know, the thing, she said, you know, the thing with me is like, I'm just all about like justice.
Yes. You're a social justice warrior now, Kristen.
Kristen, please. Kristen, stop talking, please.
I was laughing considering the reason. I remember that episode of Your Friend, that blonde woman with the blue eyes, that Aryan looking woman. I remember when you got on her microphone and defended her once again, and just like the thing with Janet in the ring, or like I feel like someone could say something racist and it's not going to come out until you're upset with them. You're going to, Taria, I just want you to know they called you the N-word. No, you're not. That's not fighting justice. That's your mad day. And now you want to. So it's like you say you do the right thing for the wrong reason. Then there was a small part of me that was like, okay, if you mess with my friend now, I'm going to tell it all.
Yeah, I get
so
it.
it's, I get it. Janet, I can't stand Jackal Janet. I
hate
cannot stand her.
I hate Janet, and I think that she uses her I don't remember what Jason is. Is he half Asian and half black? I'm not
Mhm.
sure. I feel like she uses that as like a, you know, it's like,
See, I'm not racist.
yeah,
I just want to come
exactly.
at home.
I think one of I think Vanessa, a friend of my podcast, she I think posted or she tweeted something. I'm trying to find it. Oh, she said Jason is a corporate lawyer for medical insurance companies. He fights against small people. Like his actual job is defending insurance companies.
So he fights against the small
So like if
people.
you have a medical claim and you can't pay it,
Oh,
and then you
and
like go
some
to court.
enter Luigi.
Oh,
Will he be pardoned, do you think?
no, I don't think so. But I did see a clip today of Trump talking about Diddy.
What did he say?
He said somebody said, "Are you and Diddy were friends? Or do you think that you're going to pardon him? Is there any talk of that?" And he said, "Well, nobody has requested that yet, but he and I were really good friends until he started supporting the Democrats, and so I don't know. I'd have to see
You
him
used
actually."
to support the Democrats. Nope. I'm not. I said I've backed out of a little of some of the conversation because I can't allow myself to get
No, no,
upset.
no,
I can't
no. I
allow
know.
cortisol, which then will cause a stomach. I can't.
No, no. And then we don't want puffy face from all that cortisol.
Look, now I got to go get my
Now
gua.
we
What is
gotta
it
get the
called? My
gua sha.
GUA. Yeah, yeah.
Gua sha.
The fact that you knew exactly.
I'm pushing down my lymphatic drainage
Look,
areas
me
right
too.
now.
Look, I'm like,
Look at us. No, it's nuts. Anyway, I feel like everybody on the show right now is really bad. And I think what bothers me on the Valley, and this is something that Tom Hamlet actually pointed out, which is that I think that it's annoying on a show when everybody is doing terrible things to come out as a morality police, to be like, Danny,
yeah,
we're going to fight for Jasmine. We care about Jasmine. You don't care about Jasmine, because if you cared
right,
about Jasmine when the show was getting ready to film, you would have said, we want to protect our castmate of color, our queer castmate. And we don't think that it would be appropriate for Danny to be on the show because of inappropriate conduct that he did off camera. If you
right.
really cared about this person of color. But instead, what you're doing is you're having her relive her trauma on
Yeah,
camera and have to relitigate it and explain it to
that's
people
true.
over and over and over again. That's not actually caring for that person. You don't actually care about these people. You don't, Kristen, you don't actually care about justice. You're best friends with Jesse and his weird girlfriend who allegedly is a flat earther.
Okay. Wow.
So it's like, you know what I mean?
But and then they end up making the person who committed what they committed, the audience end up getting sympathy for them because it looks
Yes.
like the entire cast is coming at him. And to take it a step further, you don't care about Danny either, because then they try to
No.
pull, we care about you. If you cared about him, the conversation would be different. I will say, when Janet said I was friends with someone who did drugs and alcohol, I was like, okay,
No.
so,
Mm-mm.
and here's the thing. He came in while you were in there with the tequila, shut the door, and still took the swig while you were in there.
Yeah.
Not defending it, just saying if he was trying to hide it. It's sad, but it's like, because it's coming from Janet, I question the authenticity of the complaint. Like, girl, and then you sent your husband in to do your bidding too, and he felt bad,
Yeah.
and
Because he
he's
was like,
almost in tears. Like,
it's so awkward. Also hilarious because he was like, you said that it was fine, like when we were there, and then now you're mad because Janet told you that you need to go and fight me about it. Like, Janet was probably like, we need more camera time, Jason. Like, you
that's
need to
what.
go in there.
And somebody was saying that also the reason people are upset, this whole Nia and Danny thing, because they feel like they lay everything out for the camera and Nia and Danny don't. There are things that I feel like you could go on reality TV and still be entitled to a bit of privacy.
Yeah.
Now, if you're coming out saying like that whole, oh, he's exhausted, he went to bed. A lot of the cast said, oh, if we were in that same exact situation, he had been working all day. Yes, he had been drinking, but we know that wine can make you tired.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was tired and went to bed. I wouldn't have even thought that I was hiding it by saying he's not drunk, unless he was that's what it was. Like, he was so wild. I was like, let me go put this drunk person to bed. So that's what made me kind of like, you're
Oh,
trying to build from this.
yeah. And also, Nia said it that night. If any of you guys thought that, why didn't any of you say, Nia, come on, he's drunk?
Right.
None of you said it. You waited until I left, and then you talked shit about me. And then they had that girls' night dinner, and then they waited until
Girl.
she left, and then they talked shit about her again. And that's what they keep doing. And I think that's what's bothering me. That's what I hate about Janet, because she
Yes.
loves to do shit like that. And again, I cannot express this more. all of these women are pretending to care about Nia, care about Jasmine. We need to
Yes.
fight against Danny. But you guys are still hanging out with Jesse, who drank 2 whole bottles of champagne before they went to the vineyard and then screamed and called his wife a whore. And then he said again in the confessional this episode, I'm sorry for calling her a cheating, lying whore, but the reality is that she did cheat and she did lie, but she shouldn't be called a whore for it.
I was like, what?
Did you see the clip going around? I don't listen to this podcast because screw this lady, but that podcast, Not Skinny But Not Fat,
Mhm.
she had Jesse on and she asked Jesse that apparently Michelle said that when she was in labor with Isabel, he was trying to control what the doctors were doing. And Jesse admits that when she was in labor, he was trying to make sure that she wasn't allowed an epidural,
Excuse me?
and that he didn't want her wife to be like, he didn't want the birth of their child to be like informed with like drugs. I'm like, you're obviously on coke. Like, don't come here and talk about like holistic whatever this and that. Like, and then he said he wanted to have a home birth, and Michelle was like, no, I want to go to the hospital.
Yes.
And he said, like, yeah, I mean, it was messed up. Like, he was like, I did try to control it, but like, it was for the well being of my daughter. I was like, how can anybody still defend this man? I don't understand.
She should have called him over to the bed and said, I want to hold your hand. And accidentally, in quotes, grabbed his nuts and
I was,
twisted them into a sack.
I was just going to say that because
I want you to feel now. Let's try some holistic treatment for your nut sack that I've inverted. Like, how dare that? And again, men trying to control women's bodies.
I can't. It's insane.
You don't want it. I don't care what you want.
Isn't that nuts?
And I was wrong. I'm sorry. I mistakenly earlier said Michelle talks like someone that writes cursive. She talks like someone who's reading a teleprompter for the first time and just saw English words.
I know. I will say this. Okay. I think that Michelle, okay, I want
It's
to,
gorgeous.
she's great. It could be Republican. We don't know.
Oh God, that's right. Oh,
But, Michelle she's Persian and Mexican. And I'm wondering if she grew up in a house where like English was not the first language. And so she just struggles sometimes. Like, sometimes like your brain has to like flip
okay.
around.
You know what?
But
Fair. I didn't think about that.
I also think that her being on this show was something that Jesse wanted. And I think that what Jesse was going to do if she wasn't on the show is like basically talk shit about her. So this is her. I don't think Michelle
Oh,
really wants to be on the show. I think that she has
okay.
to be because she's like, my ex-husband is a psychopath. And like, so I think she's also like uncomfortable a lot.
You know what?
Again,
Nope.
she
That's
might,
fair.
she might be problematic, but also she does crack me up because she keeps saying words like threatening.
Yeah.
And it always cracks me up.
And I think it's the tone and it's not even it's the tone and the timbre for me that make me like,
Yeah.
all right, do
Are
you
you
know?
awake?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yes. But I didn't think about the language piece. See, this is
Yeah.
why. Okay, that
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
but you know what? I will defend any woman against Jesse Lally. He's a
Yeah,
demon. He's a demon, and I think that he wants Jax to be on the show so that he looks better compared to Jax.
yes,
That's really
and
what it is.
Jax is so stupid. He doesn't see it. He also doesn't see that Tom Schwartz probably really wants nothing to do with you in real life.
The after show, isn't it so funny where like Tom Schwartz is sitting with Jesse and Jax keeps saying things and he just looks around in the space
Yes.
like, what am I doing here?
Yes, like this is what my life has. I have to do this now because of my lifestyle makes it. And the way Jax tried to reason, the realtor told him he needed to
My
jump
God,
on that.
nuts.
I was like, and Brittany had a good point. You are in rehab. Why are you making decisions like this in rehab?
Yeah. If you were in rehab and a mental health professional diagnosed you with bipolar disorder, they would not okay you
I forgot
making
about
a
that.
giant purchase like that because I have a cousin who has bipolar depression, and so he's had a manic episode and purchased a brand new car. Like,
Okay.
this happens sometimes where you do these like
Yeah.
big over the top things when you're in the middle of an episode. And especially when you're coming down from like a drug situation, like
Oh,
there's just a
yeah.
lot, right? And so I don't believe that your therapist at rehab was like, yeah, this is a good idea. Like, I don't trust that.
That's
I don't trust anything
crazy.
that Jack says. So,
Me neither. Well, that like Brittany said, I never know if he's lying or not.
yeah. It's like I know you're not watching Summer House, right? There's not much to watch.
But I keep hearing so much about like so much talk about it.
It's not great to like the season was fine, but the reunion was on yesterday and I tried to watch it today and honestly to me it was unwatchable. It was hard to
Wow.
watch because it was boring because
And
I
you
was like
are a summer house
I'm a Summer House girl. I love Summer
yeah.
House. But if the entire reunion is just going to be about like cuz the thing is the season was good because there was actually not a lot of conflict. It was really fun season.
Oh, that's
Everybody
yeah.
everybody was getting along, everybody was laughing. There's a lot of jokes and stuff, right? It was really fun. And so when you have a fun season and you go into a reunion, there's not a lot of drama to rehash. And so
Mm.
they kept like cutting away to these like not dramatic like cliffhangers between commercials with like very dramatic music and I was like this is really unnecessary. Like it felt weird, but
Yeah.
on the reunion they were talking to Paige about Craig. And she said one of the
Oh,
reasons why I broke up with Craig is because I don't know if he's lying. She's like, there's nothing.
that's
It's gotten to
hard.
the point where I don't know if he's telling the truth. And I think Brittany obviously got to that point with Jax where she was
Yeah.
like, it's no longer doable. Also, he threw furniture at me.
Yeah, that to me that he could have like and then the stuff that Kristen was saying she read that he's about her body, but he called her a tree stump, like and then what Cece posted that Cece commented on the picture and he was like, that's not what she really looks like. Like,
Yeah, he's nuts. He's
also,
he's terrible.
Jax, you were just a blurb. You judging by Brittany's ex, the man Julian, and now this most recent rumored fling, you really are not her type. Just
No,
saying.
apparently Brittany loves black guys.
Yes. So you are not
And
the
you
type, and I think that probably
know.
enrages him more.
And you know the words that Jax is using to talk about these women.
Yes, that's yes, yes, yes. I was gonna say, you know, that enrages him even more.
The words he is using. Oh my god.
I could literally just I want her. I've said it before. I was gonna say like a revenge bod, but honestly, revenge bods don't work. Like when people say, "Oh, I got finer after my breakup," I think that's good for you. But the reality of it is, if the person doesn't want you, they just don't want you, regardless. Now, if that's why they left you, that's something different. But I want her not necessarily to have a revenge bot. I want her, you know, as women, when you sometimes you're in a, it seems like a perfect space. You're liking your hair, you're liking
Yeah.
your body, you're liking your face. That's the phase I want Brittany to be into, and she may be there. So I don't know. I could just, but I want her to love everything about herself and just be really feeling herself,
Yeah.
and have him watch that because he tore her self confidence down, and he
Yeah.
knows that. So I want her I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. I
Yeah.
want her to feel that.
Yeah. And I want that also for Michelle, by the way. Because again,
Yes,
all the
yes,
things that
yes,
we're saying that
yes.
Jax did to Brittany, the
Jessica, yeah.
financial issues, calling her fat, not loving her, not giving her any attention, those are all things that Jessie Lally did to Michelle while she was pregnant. So, like,
Yes.
let's not act like these guys are not the same person. They are the same person.
And I feel like um, Michelle found out early on, but she kind of found herself trapped. Like she was basically like she wanted the one night stand, she got it. And then who knows if she had people in her ear, oh, he works, he
Well,
makes money.
she said in the after show she was saying that like she when she met him they were a lot younger and
Oh, that's
he's 8 years older than her.
oh, see, I didn't realize that. See,
He's
that's
8 years
oh,
older than her. He's 43 or 44. So she's in her mid 30s and she met him I think like 10 years before that. So she's in her 20s, he's in his 30s.
okay.
He's schmoozing her, he's dining her, and why like he's doing all the things that older guys do with younger girls. And
Yeah.
then when the younger girls get smart to it and end up making their own money and go, wait a minute, you're actually not good at this.
Yeah.
I'm actually a
Yes.
lot better. That's when these guys start to spiral. And that's why Jesse like lost his mind and he sucks. hate him so
And he never denies anytime. The one thing
he
that
never
shuts him
denies
up
it.
is the money thing. When she says he spent all our money, he shuts up.
And like he thinks all this stuff like calling her names and threatening lawyers and all that stuff. He thinks it's funny. Like, and I
And
don't
it's
understand why
not.
anybody would think that that is a person that anybody should be rooting for.
Right. I agree.
Well, Taria, that's it. Wait, real quick. These Mormon girls, they won't get off the mics either. Did you see this latest thing with Jen and Zach, where Zach is on a podcast and he said that Jen tricked him into having a baby because
Yes.
she took out her IUD. I'm sorry, I watched the season. This girl was in a bad place when she got pregnant.
That's what it looks like to me. It's Jen is one of those people where I feel for her, but like with emotion and the hormones in the dark place she's in, while at the same time understanding that some of the things you accused your husband of, mhm, but we want you to be happy, healthy, and we want you to be out of that bad space. I do feel like there was a part of me that felt like at first her sending that video while they were on vacation, while they were away, was like a ploy. But then I was like, well, she had to explain why she wasn't there.
Yeah.
And the reality of it is she's in a bad space. It doesn't have to excuse it. Also, Demi may be a demon in some instances.
She's not wrong.
She's not wrong about Taylor. I could barely stomach Taylor when she was like, yeah, I finding out all those girls supported her privately, and then her defenses, I was feeling that at the time.
Yeah, I will say, like, I think the thing with Taylor is that she is very dumb. And Demi is a smart person. But I think
Yes.
that Demi needs to realize that the place in which she has decided, the industry in which she has decided to make money is a dumb place. It's a place
Yeah.
for dumb people. Like,
Yeah.
you don't get on TikTok and get super famous and make a bunch of money by being a smart person. Stop trying to run TikTok like a business, okay? It's not a business.
It's not a bit.
It's not like that, okay? And also, your husband has a weird shaped head and he needs to stay out of women's business.
And Jessie said that she was in comments saying that he had asked her husband for $10,000 to help pay bills.
Ah.
She said that multiple times.
Okay.
Yeah, like, hold on. I'm like, now I'm texting my daughter. She's a woman's job is never done.
It's never over.
It's not. Wait, no, because I wanted to ask you something else.
Okay.
She'll get it. I spelled raining wrong. She'll get it.
Okay.
With Demi, if her point wasn't based off of her wanting to get the same, she sees Taylor getting opportunity. If her not wanting to take Taylor's position, it would come off much better.
Yeah.
But you're trying to, like, instead of just letting Taylor implode the group, not implode the group, but letting her implode, I'm going to be honest. I didn't care that she talked to Leanne the way she did. Don't have your mama come getting up in my face, asking me nothing, and then starting to cry, make excuses for her. And I do see what Demi is saying. Like, when you have those friends, you're almost what, like, Shamia told Portia, I can't tell you anything because you're always going through something.
Yeah. No, I get it. And I think ultimately Demi keeps trying to prop it up with like that what you said right now. Like, I think it's a good point. Demi keeps trying to be like, this is gonna drag mom talk down. No, it's not.
No, it's not. This is not.
No, it's not. Do you know what makes things exciting? You know what gets more views on TikTok is chaotic people
Yes.
like Taylor Frankie Paul. Okay.
Yeah.
That is the business that you have gotten yourself into. Okay. It is not wholesome. It's this type of chaotic viral stuff. That is
Yes.
what got Mom Talk to blow up and get super popular in the first place. If it wasn't for the swinging scandal, you wouldn't have even had the show. Okay.
Yes.
She got you the
And
show.
I'm
So
thankful for that, but that also goes back to Taylor. Whenever you have a moment, you cause chaos and it affects everybody around you.
yeah, exactly.
And then you're like, oh, I was just having a moment. Nobody has gone hard enough to her at me. And now that I look back now and I kind of feel like,
I think the reason why nobody's gone hard enough against her is because I think that they all recognize that she doesn't necessarily have the emotional and mental capacity or
Mm.
intelligence to be able to get it. Like, even when Macy talks to her and Michaela talk to her, they kind of are like, "Do you
Yeah.
get it? Do you get it?" And
Oh,
there and
that frustrated me so
she's
bad.
like, "Ah, I guess, I don't know." And they're like, they're kind of just laughing about it because they're like, she's not going to understand. I think it's like you have this one friend that's deeply delusional and you can't ever get through to them. And I think these girls are at that age where they're like, nah, there's nothing that she's going to do to her own to our lives that is worse than what she's already done to her own
Yeah.
life. So I think that's kind of how they feel about it. But I just don't like Demi because she's a little judgy and like mean, and she comes off a little bit like on a high horse, and I don't like the way that they treated Jen, because it was very obvious to me that it was based in like a hazing situation. It was based in judgment.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
also think that Demi and Jesse, but Demi especially, is married to, she said it herself, she's married to like the golden boy of Utah and like of that community.
My
And
God.
so I think that these girls say like we're fighting the patriarchy, but they still are holding on to men to give themselves power. Like,
Yes.
yeah, you got a liberal progressive man who drinks and lets you wear whatever you want
Yeah.
and doesn't care that you had sex before marriage, but you still are aligning yourself with sexism and misogyny and racism. You know what I mean? So it's like
1000%.
let's not, again, it's like adding morality to something that doesn't need that. Like, this is an
Right.
immoral space. Leave it.
Right. That's, you know what? You're right. That this is not like it's holy ground.
Leave
And here you
immoral
come.
spaces where they are. Okay. Take the morality stuff elsewhere. That's how I also feel about the Valley. I feel that way about like on Atlanta, about like authenticity. I'm like, this is an inauthentic space. Just leave it as it is.
Right. Because you don't have authentic. At this point, we're getting people that want to be on TV, which is fine, but it's like, it's not. I feel like, yeah, that's very true. With these Mormon ladies,
Yeah.
I want to know if Jesse had that affair, and if not, who? I'm sorry, just real quick. I know we have to go. Layla worked my nerves. You got a minute with the star, and I feel like she now wants to align herself to Taylor. When she got that opportunity, and it was her and Taylor, and I felt like something clicked in her brain, like Taylor's the reason we get these opportunities. Now let me show her my phone of the text group that I'm in, and then never opens her mouth and stands up for her. I used to try to have your back, Layla, but this right here, to me, I was like, and then your Hail Mary was going to get this guy from Vanderpump Villa to say, I was
This,
annoyed.
I know it's so annoying, but we do have to remember that a lot of these women are under the age of 25. They were
That's
born
true.
after 9/11. Everybody, let's
That's
remind
true.
ourselves that they were
That's
born
true.
after 9/11. Their frontal lobe has not formed.
That's true. And I'm going to say Demi might have been, I do feel like the Demi situation, Taylor twisted that because Demi did, she said we weren't friends then. I think what Demi was saying was Taylor asked her about a service and she was like, I've never had that done there. So I don't get that done there. So I wouldn't go, I couldn't tell, I wouldn't go there for that because I've never had that done. I honestly feel like listening to both of them and the way, even still, Jesse, underneath them clip-ins, those people's hair is jacked up.
Jesse, we all have your
They
Instagram.
all have a teaspoonful of hair.
We nobody has any hair left at Jay-Z Styles, okay?
Yes, and it's all the same. I said, I think I used to love a middle part bust down. I can't even, they don't even like, oh my, and I'm sorry. Layla may not have been trying to be insensitive. There is a part of me, that game that they did,
Oh, mhm.
even once Demi was like, okay, like trying to go along with it, the fact that they didn't nip that game in the bud right then and was like, you know
Mhm.
what, we're not going to do it. I was like, this is really insensitive. And I'm glad they spoke up because they should have agency and say, especially with Macy and getting
Yeah.
pregnant. However, she's here, and in the back of her mind, she was wondering, maybe it is me. If no one is saying,
Yeah.
maybe it is me. I was like, this is, oh, that it was, oh, it was a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I also need production to, like, butt out of it because, like, this is apparently
Yes,
a production game, and it was just
that's what I'm thinking.
disgusting.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
that's,
"You know what? Maybe we need a Hulu reckoning because that's gross that
yes,
Hulu
like
you did that."
and like, because, and Layla's like, it's because I'm late on my period.
No. Layla, please.
Like like I appreciate it, but and you're not blended in the back. You're pissing me off.
Don't let Jessie touch your hair, okay?
I
She
feel
doesn't
for
know how to use.
she has addressed it, and people in the comments have been like, "Hey sis, maybe try braids.
No,
Maybe try."
honestly, reach out to Sierra from Summer House. Find out who's doing her hair because
Yes.
Sierra's hair has looked incredible, especially this last season. Her hair looks so good. She had like 90s blowouts in the last season of Summer House. It looked so good. Talk to Sierra,
And if she
okay?
can't, talk to Tanisha Styles, the black woman in Utah who
Oh,
used to do Heather's hair.
oh yes, that's
I follow
right.
her on Instagram. Talk to her. She's
That's,
there.
that's right.
She's there. I can't take another wave. I'm like, but Jesse's a millionaire. But they're filming right now.
I
And Demi's
know.
filming. Demi, I'm sorry. I spell it DEH-ME. Demi is filming right now.
No, it's dummy, like dummy. Like a
I
dummy.
will say that look on her was flawless at her Christmas
Oh,
party.
incredible. Stunning. Beautiful girls, beautiful gowns,
Yes,
I have to say.
yes. And I'm tired of hearing about Dakota and Taylor.
Go away from me with
Go
this.
away from me with this. She'll be pregnant next season.
I'm sure. Well, Taria, this was great.
Yes, it was.
I will be on your podcast again in a couple weeks.
Yes, you
We'll
will.
talk about some shit. Okay, look at you. You know what dance you're doing? You're doing the tyrant dance. I'm so sweaty. You're doing the tyrant dance for like Beyonce. That's all I think about now. Everything is Beyonce coded
Everything
from
is
here on.
Beyonce coded. Yes. Shout out to
I don't know.
Beyonce.
Maybe I'll see you on July 4th in DC. I don't know.
If I
Guys,
don't go to the concert, you could still stay at the house and just pop by.
yeah. Guys, go and follow what else is going on YouTube, on Instagram. Go subscribe to her on everywhere podcasts are found. Leave her 5-star review because she
Please
deserves
do.
it.
Appreciate y'all.
And I love you, and I'm so glad you're here. And I think that we can all agree that these are some, not that I don't want to talk about Atlanta this way, but I do believe that, like Kaya says, The Valley and The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives are some of the ghetto shows on TV.
Yes, they are.
So
They
funny.
and I am tuned
I know. I'm
in.
like, I like the shift. This is fine.
Yes.
This
I
is
need
fine.
I feel all of my emotions with all of these shows. I feel like I'm a well-rounded individual because it doesn't make you better because you don't watch reality TV.
Exactly. At period.
Period. Dot. Wait, was I allowed to say that?
No,
End
I
it.
don't
End
think
it here.
so.
End it here.